Hello all. This video tutorial is aimed at helping you to do the analysis in SPSS. The SPSS is a lot more like R Jaguar, or maybe even the reverse is correct. So similar to R Jaguar, when opening an SPSS, a data import wizard comes, but we will not use it. Maybe we will try to use file, open data, load the data. The data is saved in desktop, so I will go to desktop, Choco folder. We will use CSV. So this is the file. Let us select it. So a testing board wizard comes. They will ask for whether it is a predefined format. It is no. It has a special character comma delimited, so we'll select that. It's already selected. Are variable names included at the top of your files? Yes. Then click next. So all these things are correct. So here the delimiter is comma, it's already selected. So you can view the files, next, finish. So you can see that the data is loaded. And the data viewer is almost similar to one we will see in R Jaguar. It has the variables in the columns and there is a variable view. And the variable view, we will be able to edit the variables as well as their types. So one thing important similar to R Jaguar is to look at the measure type, the scale type. So in SPSS language, so in interval scale will be represented as scale. So loyalty is a scale and quality is also a scale. The other two are nominal. That's correct. So then we can start doing that. So the data viewer is ready. Data view and variable view we have checked. So we can go to the main software package. So this is the layout of the SPSS package. Similar to R Jaguar, you can do analysis. So first we will, so this is the contest and the hypothesis. So the first four hypothesis, as we mentioned in the class and in the lecture note, it will require a t-test, and the fifth hypothesis will need a chi-square test. The first hypothesis compares the average of the age of the respondents with a standard. So let's see how we are testing it. So we will do analysis. We will have to select compare means, because that's what we are doing. We will select a one sample t-test. So the variable of interest is age, and the test value, which is the standard to against which we are comparing, is 26. So we will give it 26. There are options. We don't need it now. We will run the analysis. Okay. So the analysis results have come. So you can find that there is a t value which is exactly the same as that we got in R Jaguar, and there is a p value which is shown here as the significance. So the p value is much less than 0.05. So the hypothesis is supported. The mean value of the age is 24.12. So there are other details as well, but our interest lies in the t value as well as the p value. So now we will go to test the second hypothesis, whether girls are more brand loyal towards chocolate or not. So we will do analyze. Compare means we will do an independent sample t-test, because the samples are independent. So the test variable or the dependent variable is loyalty, and the grouping variable is gender here. So we will select that, gender. So SPSS will ask you to define groups. RJaguar, the groups were defined in the data viewer itself. So here I will have to define group. Group 1 as male and group 2 as female. I'll continue. There are options. I'm not going to it. I will run it. Wow, we got the t-test results. We will look at the t-values. The 0.965 here and the p-value as 0.337. So since the p-value is much greater than 0.05, we will make an inference that, or conclude that, the hypothesis, there is not enough support to the hypothesis. The means between boys and girls, male and female categories are also given. The other details are also given. This is one of the problem with SPSS, like it will give a lot of other things that we don't need. We will face such issues when we do more complicated things. But R gives a minimal output from which if you need more details, you can ask R for it. So we have done the first two hypotheses. And yeah, there is equal variance is assumed and equal variance is not assumed. We do not want to go to it. You can do either of it. So in RJaguar, we had to select this a priori, like whether which assumption we are working on. So now we will go to test the third hypothesis, that boys can judge the quality of the chocolates better. So before that, one thing you might have noticed by now might be that SPSS do not allow one-tailed hypothesis test. So the tests are two-tailed. If you need to get the p-value for the one tail, you will have to double the p-value. Okay, now we will proceed with the next test. So we'll check whether the boys can judge the quality of the chocolate better. So to do that, again analyze, compare means, independent sample t-test. So the dependent variable will be quality. So we got the results, but we cannot. So these are two-tailed results. As I said, SPSS do not give one-tailed result. Though our hypothesis is one-tailed, it needs a one-tail. It will ask us to do a one-tailed test. We cannot do it in SPSS. You do a two-tailed test and you have to double the p-values. So look at the t-values and look at the p-value. The p-value is is greater than 0.05, which tells us that our hypothesis is not supported. So there is no difference. There is no reason for us to believe that there is a difference between boys and girls in judging the quality of the chocolate. So the next, we want to see whether the preference for the chocolate, whether they make it the people brand loyal or not. So to test that, again analyze, compare means, independent sample t-test. So the dependent variable is loyalty and the grouping variable is type here. So we'll have to define groups. So we'll check what are the Okay, I forgot what are the names of it, so I'll check. It is dark and sweet. Okay, define groups. One is dark, the other is sweet. Oh, continue. Okay, so we got the results. So there is the t value which is not that high, and the p value which is greater than 0.05, which tells us that there is no reason for us to think that there is a difference in the loyalty between those who prefer dark chocolate versus sweet chocolate. Okay, we didn't get any support for those three hypotheses. Next we will go to the last hypothesis, so which requires us to do a chi-square test. It tries to see whether the distribution of the people or their preference was dark or sweet, whether this distribution is different between girls or boys. To test that, we will do analysis. We will do a crosstab. Where is crosstab? In the descriptive statistics, crosstabs. So rows will be type and columns is gender. You have to, your statistic you are interested is in getting the chi-square test. Continue. Okay, so here is the cross tabulation table, and here is the chi-squared value, which is exactly the same as we got in R Jaguar, and the p value is 0.25, which is greater than 0.05. So there is no difference in the distribution of the people preferences into dark versus sweet chocolate, and this difference is not different between girls versus boys. This distribution is not different between girls versus boys. So we have tested all our hypotheses. Only the first hypothesis was supported, all others did not support. So you got to know that SPSS is more or like working on SPSS or R Jaguar is almost same. Only difference is that SPSS is costly. So you can do your trial version in SPSS and learn how to do it also. You can continue to use R Jaguar also. Bye.